You know what time it is. Yes, that's right, folks. It's Doc Rio, and I'm here from Rio Bucks Consulting Group. As a matter of fact, I forgot one thing. So one thing about multimedia production, got to make sure you got lights. So let me do something real quick. I know I'm recording, but I got some things to talk to you about real quick. You guys have been sending me messages saying, hey, how come you haven't been, on the screen? And I know. You guys want to see me on the screen, because you want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about and it's not memorized, it's not rehearsed. 90% of the time, I am not rehearsing anything I'm saying. I am writing it down, though. I do keep a list on my iPhone about what I'm going to say, or on my iPad about what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do. Because in order to show anyone anything, you got to have it organized. So give me 1 second. Let me crank up this extra light real quick, and we'll see how it goes. All right, as that light's warming up, yeah, there we go. Got to blend the light in. I know I'm using different color lights here, and one of the things about me using the two different tone lights is because I actually have some light coming out of the other room back there. I probably should turn that off. And a shirt to go. But that's that, I keep a lot of gigs going, and I do some restaurant delivery. I do some lifting, and I do some Ubering. People wonder why I do all these things. I like being in the mix of the people. I remember when I was a kid, I said something about that. Well, actually, not even a kid, as an adult. I was riding the bus back in 2000, early 2000s. I was just on the bus, relaxing, and every day that I would be on the bus, relaxing and thinking about what I would be doing for that day. I think I was getting ready for filmmaking at LACC. I was at LACC, as a matter of fact, going to LACC, thinking about things I wanted to film. And one of the things that crossed my mind or kept showing up were these different talented people that I would run into. I ran into a trumpet player, hell of a trumpet player. I wish I still had his phone number, because I'd love to hear him play again. I tried to contact him again, and I think he lived kind of on the street. He was a starving artist. I ran into a guitarist who was a vocalist. Great vocalist, man. I've heard him sing like 6 or 7 times at different places throughout, LA. I don't even remember his name. I should remember his name. That is one of my things that I work on, remembering names. But last time I saw him was like 6 years ago. I ran into different filmmakers and different artists, different actors, singers, dancers, all from being, as they say, down in the dirt, down in the mix. I was thinking about something, I can't remember how he said it. It was in the movie Devil's Advocate. And Pacino was talking about, in his role, he was talking about, being the devil, or the difference between, knowing how to be, I think he was specifically speaking about knowing how to be a great attorney, and how he was a great attorney, but he was talking from the devil's perspective. So he was talking about him being in the mix. You got to be amongst the people at some point to understand what the people think, to understand what the people might want to see. And as a multimedia, a brand owner or consultant, a multimedia consultant for a brand owner or brand manager or a content creator, these are the things that you want to be prepared with. So as I ramble on, and I'm going to try to keep this wide open. I don't want to have this discussion to be cut up, edited, chopped up. I may add some visual stimulation because talking heads get kind of boring. And that's one thing about multimedia. We got a lot of people on the web just doing nothing but talking heads, including myself. I do a lot of talking heads, but they do get boring to the eye. There needs to be some kind of visual stimulation. And these are things that we're going to talk about in my new program. My new program is all about how to use multimedia to further your brand. how to use multimedia in your home. So you could be the brand owner and be your own brand manager. That's very important. And I was reading this book. It was a Peter Drucker book. He was talking about the best thing for entrepreneurs is to figure out what position they best fit in. What can they contribute? What can you do? And it's all about knowing yourself in that sense. And it might have been managing oneself that I was reading. Who knows? I read a couple of his Harvard reviews. From the Harvard Review, a couple of his writings from the Harvard Review, and I just was amazed. Of course, I've heard most of everything that was in them before, but to read it again and to reiterate it in your mind, it actually brings back out the power that you have inside. So, with that being said, I'm probably going to write some of this stuff. Actually, I know for a fact, I'm going to end up writing some of this stuff down, logging it down for those who are in our membership program so that you can be able to understand the concepts that are in here. And as I see that I continue to rabble on, I lost where I was talking. So let's get back to what I was talking. I was reading this thing on Peter Drucker, and he was talking about, the differences between different managers, between different executives. And a good executive tries to figure out exactly where they're good at, and they pay attention to that. He says we all have a vast number of areas in which we have no talent or skill and little chance of becoming even mediocre. In those areas, a person, and especially a knowledge worker, should not take on work, jobs, and assignments. One should waste as little effort as possible on improving areas of low competence. Now, the problem with multimedia is that a lot of brand owners and executives aren't good at it. And in today's day and age, it's easy. It's easier. I don't want to say it's easy. It's easier for brand owners to be good at it. There are a multitude of videos on YouTube that break down all kind of tutorials for every single program. Every single program. But what I've noticed is that they don't streamline the information for a brand owner, for a content creator, for a consultant. My goal here in this 12-step program is to break it down and stagger the information or set up the information so I can streamline it, staggering it in levels. The first level we're going to work on, and the first thing I'm going to figure out the concept of how I'm going to break it down is for 3 different people. I'm calling this the basic program. Now later on, after I beta test the basic program and see how it goes with the 27 people that we have in it right now, who thank you guys for sending me more information, sending me feedback. That feedback is invaluable. That feedback is helping me figure out how to streamline it for all you guys' business. And I'm sitting here looking at different sets of data and I'm blown away because the feedback that I've been getting not only from the members, but from people outside of membership who want to get in the door has really blown me away. Right now, the people who are beta testing are a hand-selected few. I'm only hand-selecting, for those who want to know, I'm only hand-selecting the individuals for this program right now because I want specific people in the program so that I can understand how to teach, not teach. You can't teach, you can only show. You can only show. Remember that, guys. So if you hear me say teach and I slip up, I'm going to try to correct myself every time because you can only show. I'm going to build a workflow system for you guys. And that workflow starts with a few things. Let's jump into what I needed to talk about here and get away from all the extra stuff because as you guys know, I do and can ramble. And as I was learning the other day, reading something from Peter Drucker again. Wow. That we learned, it's the Harvard Review again, that some people learn as they talk, some people learn as they read, some people learn as they listen. I think for me, I actually learn more talking, but at the same time, throughout the years, I've learned a lot just by listening. I've noticed lately, I talk a lot more than I listen, and there's something with age that's causing me to realize that and look back and say, yeah, I got to listen a little bit more here. I got to listen a little bit more there. But there's something with age that brings out the knowledge and the answers are total recall. I've always had this like talent for recalling answers. Some of them I didn't even know. I remember in elementary school, teachers would ask me, did I want to teach the class? And I'd be like, yeah. And I start teaching the class about what they were talking about. I have no clue what they were talking about. But for some odd reason, my mind picked up on what they were trying to say and where they were trying to go. I mean, I knew if it was science, I definitely didn't know the technical details. But if it was something like English, I would always try to take over just because I understood. And oddly enough, it took me, well, actually, I think I still need to double check. I'm not even sure if I've passed all my English classes for college yet. So I'm going to double check that. But yeah, good at English or have been basically American, good enough for conversational English. But, there's a lot of technical stuff that I could have learned through that time that I should have been listening to. So there's that aspect of what I'm picking up and what I'm learning as I go along. And so I'm listening to your comments, your statements, even the ugly ones, the dirty, nasty ones. I know there's some of you guys that are not going to like what I got to say. I'm listening to that too, because maybe there's something in what you're saying that I can turn around and help other people with. So just keep them coming. I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to take from it and learn from it. Now, let's jump into the better part of this plan. What are we doing here? This is the 12 steps to multimedia success. I'm building a 12-week program. A 12-week program. That's about 80-something days right there for you guys to understand what you need to do within 4 months. Within 4 months, you'll be able to understand what you need to do and have the basics and have material, tutorials, and everything that you need to streamline your brand, your multimedia for your brand. So, with that being said, as I said before in my quick block of instructions, and I like the quick blocks of instructions, and maybe I'll have to slide them in videos like this because I know you guys said you want to hear me just talk. You want to see me communicate. So with that being, I might have to break in some of these talks to throw in blocks of instruction real quick. Or maybe at the end of these talks, I'll give a block of instruction at the end of every talk. That sounds good. How does that sound to you guys? Write me back and tell me. All right. So now, with that being said, the first thing I'm going to talk about right now is the first 90 days of the program. Not the first 90 days of the program. The first 3 steps. It was going to be a longer program, but I realized that people don't have the patience for a 12-month program. People don't have a patience for a 6-month program. 90-day program, that might work. So I figured from what I learned from other consultants out there and the things that they do, like for instance, I believe a guy named Ty Lopez, he has a 67, I know he does, he has a 67 day program. That's what I was looking for, the word day. And it's because psychologically speaking, it's been understood that after 66 days, you actually can form a habit and build a habit from the knowledge you gain. So, in this sense, if I build this program for you guys, as I build this program, I'm building it so that it's habit forming and so that you build certain habits in your multimedia production that you build in your workflow. And then your workflow will get you through every point of every bottleneck. I want to call them bottlenecks because any point that stops you from continually going on in your multimedia production and holds you back from finishing it is a bottleneck. It's a part where you're getting all this information, getting all this content, and you're on a roll and you're on a nice roll, and all of a sudden, pause, I got to wait for something. So there's a way to get around those bottlenecks, and there's a way to structure your, manage your time so that you can do what you need to do. And the first thing that you need to manage your time is a Mac. I'm saying this over and over and over again. I love the fact of the feedback I got back, but it's got to be a Mac, guys. I can't fight this feeling, this understanding, and this knowledge that I already have about the connection between Mac and multimedia. If you want to excel in multimedia, it's got to be a Mac. Got to have one. And when I recommend that, I'm going to continue to go on in the tools section here real quick. And I'm going to skip around. Computer hardware. So when we talk about hardware in the hardware block, I talked about Mac types. The Mac types that I'd like to see out there, you know, you really need, I should have wrote the actual specs down, but you should really go out and get a brand new Mac. I don't have a brand new Mac, but if you go to somewhere like Mac of all trades, you'll have an updated enough Mac. And so if you check out my step 1 block 1, it'll break down the requirements. Step 1 block 1 is free. It's free for all you guys to take a look at. And these are these quick blocks that I'm throwing out there for the intro. But as people get into the program, you know, while we're in the beta testing, some of these blocks will be free. Some of these blocks will be part of the program. So I just want to get that out there. All right. So now let's continue down the hardware block. When you talk about Mac types, I say use an iMac, a Mac, a Mac. What is that Mac called? I can't even Mac Pro. Is that called Mac Pro anymore? I can't even remember anymore. You know, the new cylinder. That thing is just beautiful. I gotta get me one of those one day. Anyway, now like I like the iMac better than I like the actual idea of having a Mac with a monitor. It's just the idea of having that nice, beautiful cylinder off to the side, but the iMac works better. It's all-in-one for me. Or all-in-one. If you like portable all-in-one, I'd say go ahead and get a MacBook Pro. Do not get a Mac Air. Do not get any other Mac than a Pro. All right, you can pick any size Pro that you want. You can pick any size iMac you want. You can pick if you want the Mac Pro, get that. You know, if you like having the big monitors and ordering those big monitors. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue. And I think I need to turn the lock off on this phone because it's really bugging me. All right, so now I talk about the requirements, and like I said, I talk about those requirements in the Step 1 Block 1. So go ahead and take a look at that. It's on the RealBucks website under what is it under? Let's see here. I know I have. It's under training blocks. So you can go ahead and take a look at the free training blocks there. Now, I also want to talk about, and this is important, I also want to talk about having alternative resources. Now, the best thing about having a Mac is you can go ahead and get something like an iPhone or an iPad, you know what I mean? And you can use those tools with your multimedia switch up. Now, I mean, multimedia network, should I say, because as Mac continues to go along, we got new stuff coming out, like from the WWDC I just heard. We got new stuff coming out, like if you go ahead and push, if you copy on your iPhone, you can go over to your iMac and freaking paste. If you copy on your iMac, you can go over to your iPhone and paste. I mean, this kind of connectivity, I mean, there's much, much more. Check out the Apple WWDC 2016 that just came out in, I think, June or May. Check that out. I mean, it was June. It was June. If you haven't checked that out, you need to go ahead and check that out. If you got Apple TV like I do, you know what I'm saying? I got the old Apple TV. I want to get the new one soon. But if you got Apple TV like I do, go ahead and look at that before they take it down. You know what I'm saying? There's a wellspring of information. I know it's a long video, but if you know anything about multimedia, this is where it's going to be at. Mac OS. No more OS 10, it's Mac OS now. Why? Because all of it's connected. Mac OS, iOS, TV OS. You know, I mean, they're just going on. Watch OS. They're going on and on and on. And everything's going to be so connected that you're just going to love it. See, these tools are going to be powerful in the future of multimedia. And I'm even using some of these tools today. All right. You guys see it out there on my multimedia. All right. Let's keep going. Production software. Production software, one of the things about production software that is important is we tend to listen to what the professionals tell us about production software. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Final Cut Pro. I'm going to say this again. I love Final Cut Pro. It's a great program. It's huge. It's full of all kind of tools, all kind of uses. But 90% of you guys out there aren't going to have a clue what to do with Final Cut Pro. I don't want to confuse you. I want to make it easier on you. You're not a professional editor doing this every day. You are a business owner. You are a brand owner sitting at your house looking at this video. You don't want to spend or waste time trying to figure out a complex program. You want something easy so that you can sit down and say, okay, I understand I do this, I'm done. That's what I'm trying to help you do. That's what I'm here to help you do. That's what I'm here to show you how to do. How to quickly do this for your business, for your brand, for your content, for somebody else's content if you want to be a consultant or a content creator for somebody else. But you'll be able to do the little bits of things that'll save you time, and it maybe even make you more money, because if you're a consultant or if you're a content creator for a brand owner, now they don't have to go to an outside source to get this completed. If you're a writer, you can go ahead, a blogger, you can go ahead and do the blog, you can go ahead and do the video, you can go ahead and do the photos. You'll know how to do all this by the end of this program and distribute it for the brand owner, or you could be the brand manager yourself. So like I said, it's for 3 categories: consultant, content creator, and brand manager. That's the basic program. And then we're going to stick to the basic program for a while. I'm not going to open up any other programs until this program is complete and it's actually set. So, like I said again, thank you, beta testers, for coming on board. Okay, we'll talk more about the rest of the steps in the next video. For now, let's go ahead and jump into step 1, block 1. All right, guys, it's Doc Rio and I'm back. Some people have sent me some messages about the training program and what are the minimum requirements to join the 12-step program. So let's jump right into it. First off, let's talk about the training process. I will be using something that I learned in the military called blocks of instruction. And what that means is that we'll be giving you short, small blocks of instruction on how to do certain steps throughout the 12-step program. The military has a tendency of making things idiot-proof, which is a great way to help people of all skill levels learn all the tasks at hand. While training, a block of instruction is commonly used to disseminate information precisely to those troops so that everyone is on the same page. Many tasks can be simplified and given to various team members, or each task can be broken down and completed by one person. So you don't need any special skills or special training, you just need to be willing to learn. And with that being said, I'm going to give you an example by jumping into the very first block. It's all about hardware. Some of these videos will be made in a quick fashion on an iPhone. I kind of call it a dirty video because it's a quick video with a little less clean audio, but it'll be clean enough to get the point across. Step 1, block 1. In this block, we're going to discuss the technical specifications you'll need as far as your hardware and software for your Macintosh computer. Let's first talk about the minimum hardware requirements. We're not going to make this difficult. It's going to be quick, easy, and simple. Only a few categories. Okay? Let's go. You should first have a 2 GHz Intel Core 2 Dual processor or higher. All right? That's your processor. So make sure it is at least 2 GHz. If you have an Apple Macintosh with a 2 GHz processor, the minimum requirements of random access memory, that's RAM, will be 4 GB, and that's the 667 MHz DDR2 SD-RAM, which will already be installed in the required computer case. Now I know I said required, and that's the minimum requirements for your computer to run smoothly in our program. If you have a Macintosh computer with a processor that's higher than 2 GHz, you'll have different requirements that are already based in the computer, already built in. So that's a plus for you. Here's a quick tip. You can find Mac computers that fit our minimum requirements just like this on eBay. Now, if you decide to get the 2 GHz processor with the 4 GB memory, make sure it has an ATI Radeon HD graphics card. And I would shop around on eBay. Check the buyer's reports. You want to make sure you're getting quality merchandise. Now, if you want to up the bar, I would suggest going to Mac of All Trades. They specialize in refurbished Macs at low prices, and they offer warranties. Now, I like that. When it comes to iPad or iPhone, you have a couple of choices here. Now, if you've already bought that Mac computer we just talked about, you can choose an iPad mini or an iPad Pro. An iPad Pro will give you professional audio and video editing software. An iPad mini will give you semi-professional abilities with video and editing applications. An iPhone, you'll need at least an iPhone SE 6S or above. Once you have these tools in hand, you're ready to start the 12-step program. Why? Because the whole course has been streamlined so that you get the maximum amount of quality audio and video content with the least amount of time spent creating it. And since we know time is money, this means you get to make more, save more, and even spend more. The Real Bucks way. So stay tuned for more from Real Bucks Consulting Group.